86 years and over 15 million acres later, Ducks Unlimited, along with our volunteers and supporters, continue to lead the way for the future of waterfowling. Whether it's attending a local event or joining our volunteer team, you too can play a role in the next 15 million acres. Visit www.ducks.org and find out how you can leave your mark for generations to come. Ducks Unlimited, the world leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
Bottomland is Mossy Oak's original camo pattern created by Toxie Hayes over 3 decades ago. This pattern preserves the original design while applying advanced technology for increased effectiveness. The same field-proven components and colors, the same dirt and bark elements, the same ability to blend into dark environments and obscure a hunter's outline from every angle. Mossy Oak Bottomland.
Get up.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. Benelli USA, dominate the skies. And Ducks Unlimited, the world's leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. We are in the what used to be Studio A / wood shop / corporate offices, aka the barn. We came over here this afternoon because it's beautiful outside, and we hadn't recorded over here in a long time. So I am joined by the Dr. Grid, Levi Gerke.
Heyo.
I'm also joined by 3-time himself, Dr. Drake Levy. As well as the savant of all leather stitching
Abilities.
I
Leather.
was trying to come up with an adjective that started with an L, and it was like the leucistic leather. That's a color. And it was like the Lord of Leather.
Yeah,
Leather Lord.
Lord Lanier.
Yeah, Leather Lanier, who has recently created or brought about the downfall of an eastern wild turkey. So congratulations, Lanier.
Thank you.
And then we're joined by our newest member of the staff, the Vice President of Sales.
Oh, my Lord.
Sir Spencer Pruitt.
Welcome, Pruitt.
Thank you. Give me back my thing.
His
by the
name,
way, Pruitt.
everybody's like, oh, that's Spence. That's Pruitt.
That's Pruitt.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, man, it's been a minute.
It has.
What was our last episode? Go ahead.
It would have been New Year.
No, really?
No, y'all have done one since then.
No, it was New Year.
We did one on the
Before-
BSOD.
yeah,
We did one
yeah.
right before NWTF. So I think it's been about a month.
Yeah, I swear
Maybe.
my memory gets worse and worse as the days go on. But yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was the memory lane one, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
you just keep getting older and older every day.
Well, it's coming up on us. But it's been a month or more.
Yeah.
You got a birthday coming up, don't you?
It'll be 26 on April 7th. Yeah.
Oh, 26. I don't even remember 26. Wow.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm still young.
You're only as old as you think you are.
Right. That's
That's what my 93-year-old grandfather with dementia thinks.
You know what comes with
And he's
years?
right.
You know what comes with years? The amount of turkeys you've hunted too.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Indeed.
How old are you? 14 turkeys.
3 turkeys.
3 turkeys.
Well, so on today's episode, I want to just kind of, go around the horn and recount some of our war stories. I mean, we've officially kicked off turkey season. Pruitt and I just took some dealers to South Carolina. which was really cool. Really kind of felt like we were a legitimate business in the outdoor industry. Like we were entertaining clients. I didn't take a gun. I didn't carry a gun. I didn't touch a gun. I didn't load a gun. Really? I mean, it was kind of bizarre. But we had a great time. It was an excellent camp, and
Heck of a time.
Pruitt is a great wingman. I mean, he's just I learned all kinds of things about these guys that I was like, really? They told you that? Like, what? That was awesome.
First time ever.
And while we were gone, I guess, what was it, last Thursday or something like that, right?
Thursday.
You killed a turkey in Mississippi. So
I did.
We were en route to South Carolina, and I got this random text like, "Did you know Lanier killed a turkey?" No. What? We missed the first turkey of the season being hung on the porch and celebratory beers and all that.
No beers.
No beers. Just celebratory stories on the porch.
Yep.
Y'all are just chicken. So tell us about your turkey, Lanier.
It really wasn't too great of a story, but it was the first time I'd hunted all year. I went to a place down in Mississippi that I'd hunted 3 or 4 times in the past, and I just hadn't been and was itching to go. Got down there. It's not too far from a main highway. Couldn't hear anything except roads and
Yeah.
cows and donkeys and roosters, and didn't hear a turkey.
This was before work. Can we just appreciate that?
Yeah. I asked permission.
No. I totally understand that.
I have permission
Boss was just talking about how great it was.
landowner.
No, I'm just saying it's a nice little perk of turkey season.
Yeah.
You can squeeze one in every now and then. That's cool.
So,
Nothing gobbled on the roost.
I mean, it might have. I couldn't hear it. It was
You're
so
interstate
loud.
hunting.
I mean, I wasn't too far.
Did you park on the shoulder of the interstate? Or did you actually
No,
get
I
off
pulled-
at an
I
exit
pulled in-
and pull in a dirt road?
Pulled down the dirt road just a little bit. So I started easing through the woods. Thought I heard one. I was like, I don't know if that was a turkey, if that was a donkey. I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
Kept on easing, and sure enough, heard it again. I was like, ooh, that's pretty close. And set up. Never had been this far back on this place. And I mean, within 5 minutes, I was looking down the barrel looking for him, and sat there for another 30 minutes. He couldn't have been 150 yards, and I never saw him. And kind of
Meanwhile,
started.
semi trucks were like hitting the rumble strips and stuff like that.
I didn't even hear
Jake
those
breaks.
anymore. Oh, he gobbled 200 times at anything and everything. Sat there, then eventually saw 3 white heads pop up, and I was like, oh shit, there's 3 of them.
You said the S word.
Still couldn't shoot him. They weren't but 20 yards from me. They were looking, watched them for 10 or 15 minutes, and could tell they were getting antsy. They were about to take off. So I could see his head. They were strutting. Waited till one kind of separated, got a decent shot it, and that was it.
Heck yeah.
So it wasn't a big chase, wasn't anything crazy, but it was successful.
we gotta work on the razzle dazzle.
Yeah, you got to expand.
There wasn't much to that one.
We need
It
to
was
have
quick.
Dallas over for like a day or two with Lanier to be like, all right, so there we were. Storytelling 101.
I think
It
we'll
was
have
crystal clear.
I think we'll have Dallas and Lanier together here in a couple weekends. He can take some notes.
Man,
Georgia.
I'm gonna be a different part of Georgia. I'm not
I thought
going
you were
home.
right. Oh, you're not going home.
I mean, if worst case scenario, I might have to go home if we can't find them where we're going, but we're gonna try a different area.
Nice. You been doing any scouting there 3 times?
A little bit here and there.
Getting a few of those photographs?
Yep. I was golfing the other evening. Update came through. I look over and I was like, look down. Sure enough, first long beard on camera. I was like,
On your side of the ditch?
yep.
Hey, yo.
Me and Corbett have a property. It's mostly Corbett's. Drake has one side of the ditch. We have the other side of the ditch. And during the month of March, the turkeys like to live on our side of the ditch.
Yeah.
And
Heavy.
Drake's like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. Y'all gonna shoot them turkeys outside the ditch. They gonna come to this side of the ditch. I'll be there waiting on them.
I got the only cell cam I got it strategically placed in the very back. So that way I don't ever got to go back there. I know if they're back there, they're going to be on camera. They got to go through this one little spot. And yeah, there you go.
So you did get some on your side.
Finally.
Other than raccoons.
Other than coons and jakes. Yeah.
Well, that's a promising thought then.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of jakes, Pruitt and I saw an absolute metric ton of juvenile male turkeys.
Juvenile.
I bet we saw.
I've got big fat lips. I apologize. Juvenile. Okay.
I bet we saw
That sounds
50, 75 different jakes
Dang.
between hunting, driving around. I mean, every field had a jake in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We legit saw a dozen different groups of 5.
Right. Which is cool because it kind of feels like people all over the country are talking about having a good hatch this year.
Yeah. Nobody's bragging about it, but I'm hearing a lot of people like, man, like, I don't want to say it, but I think we had a really good hatch.
Right.
I'm hearing that a lot.
if you have a good hatch, what do you do with that hatch in a proper way?
Kill
Shoot
them.
them the next year.
I'm just kidding. Sort of. Man, I think if you have a good hatch, you just appreciate it.
Right.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's what you do your management for, you know. People burn, trap, and all the things, you know, and so I think you just chalk it up as a win. And
Speaking of
try not to shoot 'em
management,
all.
after turkey season, talked to Corver a little bit. Need to get more of the okay, but we need to go out there with like a Fox Pro or a turtle box and play some distress noises.
Oh, yeah.
in the daylight.
Do a little coyote killing.
Coon killing.
Yeah. Have you
Yes.
seen the videos
You
of
need
that?
to
Yeah, I
watch
have
it.
seen the videos.
Okay.
That property would be primal for it.
Yeah,
Those
you can see them
videos-
coming across the road or the road with the fields, and oh man,
I bet you they would come in packs of 5.
there's an old house that's like there's like a little island of trees. I didn't see it last year because it was all greened up. Mm-hmm. This year I was out there a little earlier walking around and
I know
stuff.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's this little patch of trees, and there's this old chimney stack where this house used to be. I bet there's coons living in that thing.
Chimney cones.
Yeah,
Sounds like
if we kill a
great
turkey
idea.
out there, we're definitely going and taking a picture in front of that. It's a pretty cool spot.
Think about a Saturday. Hey, you want to go shoot some coons? Yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
There's those videos though.
I love it.
Those videos of the coons charging the e-collar.
Yeah.
does look like a blast.
Episode
Self-defense,
right there.
really.
Calling all the coons.
Yep, I can see it now.
That's wild. I've definitely seen the videos and it looks fun.
Save
I've
the
never,
pulse.
I've never had that experience, but anyways, we'll tell you a few South Carolina stories. Tell us about yours. I mean, you were a part of the first kill
Oh man,
with
This the body tackle.
frog.
Oh,
No, that was the last.
that'll be step 3 or 4.
Oh, look out, killer!
We
Lay it down, Joe.
was that the first? We got there a day early
Yeah.
from everybody.
Yeah, we did the big turkey season eve party at Boozer's house.
Absolute
It was
blast.
it was a blast. Fried some turkey. There were some other fried concoctions. He did nachos on a Blackstone.
Yeah,
Right? That
he put down aluminum foil.
I bet Boozer throws down pretty good over there.
Oh yeah,
have you ever seen Boozer not throwing down?
No.
Boozer's always having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, they whipped up that some kind of pintail loney thing in Canada last.
His is like a duck. It was like a sautéed duck with some kind of a sauce and the little
Cheese-filled pasta.
yeah, it's like a little round, like I want to say
Tortellini.
tortellini. There you go.
Yeah.
Pintail tortellini.
Yeah,
With homemade
And
Alfredo
tortellini.
sauce.
Talk about knock your socks off.
yeah,
Makes you want to have seconds regardless.
yeah.
Regardless.
Going back.
I mean,
Forced
I did not
second.
stop
But
at
that being
second.
said, like in Canada, they don't have all the ingredients like that we have over here for it.
Oh yeah, we didn't have cream.
to
You had
whip
to
up
use
something
2%
like that.
milk and
And he still made it good.
Yeah.
Old Boozy.
Wow.
This is news to me. Canada doesn't have the grocery selection that we have.
I mean, they might in some of the bigger cities, but they don't in some of the unspeakable
their government
communities.
regulates like what ingredients there is allowed to be sold in stores and things like that. Like you won't be able to go there and find
Like
Tony's.
bottled soda and everything is a lot smaller and a lot like the sugar that's in there is a lot less and everything.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
I didn't know
Their
the-
energy drinks are half of what ours are.
So you drink twice as many.
No, I bring.
Oh, pro move.
Yeah.
In the notebook.
That's crazy because some of their beer has a higher alcohol content.
Really?
Yeah, I think the
Price is higher.
So you drink more of
price is
those
for
too.
sure higher. No, I mean like the Kokanees. The Kokanees will put you on your rear end in a hurry. I mean they're twice as much. But I think the regular, I may be wrong, but I think the regular beer is, is a higher, whatever alcohol by
hops and stuff like that.
content or whatever. The little
Yeah.
number, the percentage or whatever.
Let's look right here.
But anyways, so back to Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
Boozer had cooked a hell of a spread, and the nachos. Like I don't even know what he did. The nachos were cold by the time we got there, and they were incredible. I mean, they grilled them on the Blackstone. They had some kind of seasoning, a little bit of meat, and like sour cream, and I mean we were stuffing our face with them. To be quite honest, I mean there was Doritos in there and tortilla chips, and it was like this
He
is
put like a big
fantastic.
sheet of aluminum foil under the chips and then put the chips on top of the foil and then the meat on. I mean, it was
And then just, I
very
guess he
clever.
just turned it on and then turned it off, like got them hot, and then everybody, but they were crushing them, and so are we.
So rewind a little bit. Thursday evening, I went to go try to see if a strutter we'd seen Thursday midday was still in the field. And I drove past and saw him strutting. And I went down to the end of the road and turned around. And when I came back, he had gone over a rise in the field, so I lost him. And this is right at fly up. And I was scanning with the binoculars, and just so happened, as soon as I threw my binoculars up, I see him in the air. And was able to see the exact tree, exact limb he landed on, watched him limb hop around. So we were very confident.
That was Friday evening.
Oh, was that Friday evening?
Yeah, because Thursday evening we kind of dropped our stuff and got settled, and then made a loop, and
Oh, that's right,
kinda
that's
saw
right.
everything.
There was very
then
minimal
we-
sleeping going on. So my days are
Thursday evening we ate and drank and were merry, and then got up Friday morning for gobble time.
That's right.
And
that's
the
right.
first place we stopped, one was absolutely ripping. Like as Boozer says, he was standing on his tippy toes when he took a deep breath and gobbled. I mean, he was crushing it.
Those turkeys did. That was an accurate description. I've never been on the East Coast.
They gobble with extra
They
fervor.
do.
I mean, it's a roar. Like they're going to do something about it. I love it.
How many gobbling turkeys did you guys run into that Friday morning?
Just
That's
that
the only one.
The only one.
We
Yeah,
saw a bunch.
The weather sucked. It was windy and it was cold and it was spitting rain.
We never got out of the truck. The turkey
Yeah.
that we listened to,
Yeah, we had
he's
the windows
talking
down
about
of the truck.
was in the truck. So
Yeah.
we probably could have heard more, but drove around that day and saw a bunch.
Turkey standing in every opening, every open field. I mean, it was like, yeah, this is going to be all right. I think by the time the end of the day, Friday rolled around, like Frog and Neil and Trent were coming in, middle of the afternoon on Friday. By lunchtime on Friday, we had 6 or 7 different strutters that we knew where they were, and we'd seen them. A couple of them we seen Thursday afternoon. We seen them all Friday morning. I mean, we had a pretty solid plan going into Saturday morning. So anyways, Friday night you
That's
see your
right.
strutter.
So basically we were back at camp being merry, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see if I can roost one. So that's when all that happened. I was able to watch them fly up, had them pinpointed, and then so the following morning, me and Frog and JR and Joey went in. Yes, we were 4 deep, and I was pretty nervous about that. But
Can I just side note, I want y'all to know, every person that I introduced Joey to, I said, this is Joey. And he would say, hey, I'm Joey Pavlovich. in his Ohio accent, and I would say, "This is simple, Joey. He killed a 200-inch deer with his bow." and
Joey,
he's like, he wasn't 200 inches. It was 199 and 7/8.
Joey had the audacity. They asked to see a pictures, and he's very humble. He doesn't tell anybody that he
humble
killed that
Joe.
deer. However, I think he went past being humble to like an almost extremely cocky state when they asked to see pictures, and he was like, "Well, he's not even that big," and starts showing people pictures. I was like, Joey.
I love him. Anyways, so you, JR, and Joey, and Frog.
Yeah, so we slip in the dark, and we quickly realize I was looking probably 400 yards when I watched him fly up, and on the way in the dark, we realized we couldn't get to where we had originally planned. So we split up, and they were actually on an island of brush underneath a box stand deer stand. And then
Like when he says island of brush, it's literally like a spot they couldn't bush hog
Because
like
of
it's
the
literally
stand.
just last fall's Johnson grass
Right.
around a deer stand.
Oh Lord.
And so this was like a last minute. It was starting to get daylight. We knew the turkey could see us once it got light. So that was like a last minute effort there. And we put Joey, and Frog was on the gun underneath that stand. And then JR and I dropped over into the line of trees that was on a ditch. And it was probably, 30 yards from them. But we felt like we were behind them, compared to where that turkey had roosted the night before. So it would have worked perfectly. And it was getting on in the morning. Those turkeys gobbled a little later than elsewhere. But
and the weather Saturday morning wasn't exactly perfect either. I mean,
True.
it was still kind of crummy.
true. So Jay and I are sitting off to the side, and we're talking about if it's going to work and whether they're going to shoot at us or not. And if a turkey comes between us, and he was like, I was texting Joey. I was like, "Do you know where we are?" And he was like, "Yes." I said, "Okay, don't let the bird get past you." And he said 10-4. I was like, "I think we're good. I don't think we're going to get shot, but we'll see." So, JR was like, "Man, they should be gobbling by now." And I agreed. And explain a little bit for the people who JR is and kind of.
So J.R. Lanham is incredibly colorful. I mean, he's a hillbilly. I mean, he's like, he and I are the same age. He graduated high school in 2000. He's like, we're a month apart in age, but he's an old soul. I mean, he's got 4 kids. He still heats his house with wood. He's got this wood burning stove thing in a shed out back, and that's how they heat their water. So like their well water goes through that shed, it heats their water, and it heats the air, and then that air is blown up into the house.
He's a man's man.
Literally twice while we were together in the truck, his wife Jamie, who's awesome, was calling him because the flapper and the fan valve, it was really cold in Missouri, the flapper and the fan valve on the wood burning stove wasn't running right, and he's, they're having this conversation. I mean, I needed to call Mark to break down the engineering of what was going on. I was so confused, but she's out there, he's like, "Well, we definitely need some more firewood." And he's like, "Well, send the boys up the holler, and around the corner there's a loading deck and there's a bunch of old dry wood up there. Like, tell them to cut some of that and bring it down to the house." But JR is just, thinks about turkeys 24/7.
He's a man's man.
I mean, he is a man's man, but he works in a lead mine, and he is probably one of the greatest turkey callers of all time. He's to my knowledge, he's finished second in Grand Nationals more than anybody else, 2 or 3 times, and I know he's finished in the top 10 more than anybody else. And just a heck of a turkey caller. He was kind of on the original HS Strut pro staff team back in the day. He helped host the Bloodline television show that Alex Rutledge did for a little while. And just a country as he can be, and down to earth, and just a great all around human being, and can flat yelp at a turkey.
It's unbelievable.
woodsman.
if stuff were to go south, I would want him around for sure.
No doubt.
If nothing else, because you could flat smoke turkeys for your food.
Was that the first time that you got to go hunting with JR then?
Yes.
So then off the bat, you're like, this guy's a well-established guy that I would want behind me at all times.
I'm glad you said that because Spence had talked him up a lot, and I've sat in on quite a few turkey calling competitions, and so I thought I knew what to expect, but I didn't. And so he was saying that he thought they should be gobbling by now, and I agreed. And we hadn't heard anything, and he does the most realistic fly down.
Yeah, he's like, you think I ought to just give him, hit him
Oh,
with,
yeah.
hit him with a fly down and just kind of get him. Because what did he say? He said, don't you think they need to be looking at our decoy?
Yeah, he was like, let's make him look this way. I said, sounds good to me. So he does the most realistic fly down I've ever heard. And I mean, I think 5 different birds gobbled at him in different locations just around
Like,
the
hadn't been a
field.
gobble.
Yeah,
And
it
he
just
throws
lights
a
the
fly
world
down
up.
at him, and the whole bottom just
Erupted.
erupts. And
It was like down the line, starting from right to left.
we thought they thought there was one turkey roosted on that limb, and like, oh my gosh, there's 5 turkeys roosted down this hall. Wow.
So one of those that gobbled was very close. We had no idea it was there, and it was actually behind JR and I at an angle. And so he does another one, and I don't know, 2 minutes later he did it, the second one, and as he did it, he kind of like popped up to see where the other 2 guys were sitting, where the decoys were. He's moving around, and as he's moving, I hear, and I just smacked him on the chest, and I was like, don't move. And he was like, was that him? And I was like, oh yeah. So this gobbler had pitched over us, over a field, and then made
Over
like
a power line.
over a power line, and right as he got over the power line, just banked like a mallard finishing in a field.
Big old J hook into the wind.
Yeah, massive J hook, and then just back flaps. And as soon as his feet hit the ground, he starts strutting and drumming. And Joey got it all on video, so go watch that once it's out.
Go
But
Joey.
Heck yeah.
as soon as it hit the ground, broke into strut, and he starts strutting in, and JR and I actually couldn't see anything. We were behind brush, so I'm looking through the tops of Johnson grass with my binoculars, and JR was like, where is he? And I was like, I think he's about to get shot. And boom, he just frog toasted him. And it was so early, it was legal. However, it was so early that JR and I had a GoPro pointing at us to get him calling. And the GoPro footage is just black.
Just pick the GoPro up, talk to him. Like, and thumbs up, whatever. And it's just completely black figures.
You can't even
It's
see us.
dark.
And that was Frog's second or third turkey.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
And he loves it. I mean, he had the full adrenaline dump, so that was really cool to see. But he got spoiled on that one for sure.
That was
Frog
a big
is
show.
so. Just give y'all some background. Frog is pretty cool guy. He is the store manager, or was the store manager. Now he's just kind of the main buyer. But he works at Cypress Creek Outfitters in Dyersburg. And Frog, when he was in middle school, he and his brother Austin, their mother would bring them to every trade show that was around. I mean, everything from NWTF to we used to have one in Memphis and everywhere in between. And so my earliest memories of Rolling Thunder are like Frog and Austin showing up at the booth as middle schoolers. Their mom had carried them to a trade show, and they'd blow every duck call on the table. I mean, they're both very talented callers, but like they would literally be the kids who were, blowing every call on the table to the point that you were like, all right, let's go.
And he still has an awesome
he's got
history
a
of Rolling
he does.
Thunder
He's got
kind
them
of
all.
collection.
Because his
which is
mom
cool.
she was awesome. She'd buy them something nearly every time, and you'd see him coming because Frog's 2 feet taller than everybody else, And anyways, it's really cool. The video is great because Joey's got this, all the bird footage is great, and he's coming into the decoy and bam, he shoots him and he cuts the camera to him, and it's like a scene from The Office, and Frog just like giant toothy grin, 2 thumbs up. He's like, he'd been hunting like a total of 6 minutes,
That That was probably my quickest one ever, honestly. It was dark.
Yeah. Yeah. We had I had Trent Lassiter from Spring Hill Outfitters, and we were at a different property, and we didn't hear. I think we heard 2 gobbles on the roost, so it really was a very slow start. And then we had a group of birds that flew down, and once they got cranked up, man, they gobbled 5,000 times. It was 4 birds together, 4 gobblers together, and they just every step, every breath gobbling, and they eventually got a hen so fired up, she walked down this logging road that we were set up on. She started cutting, walked straight to them, walked them straight away, gobbling every breath. And we had a couple more interactions very similar to that, very hen heavy.
I think you texted me. I think you were texting me to see if, I think it said something like, have y'all heard any? Mm-hmm. And I sent a picture of a dead bird and said,
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
We had several interactions throughout kind of the rest of the day. You know, the goal at that point was to get Trent a bird. And then Sunday morning, I mean, we basically hunted all day Saturday. We had lots more interactions, had some birds get close, and just never could quite seal the deal.
And we immediately got on a bird, and JR
Yeah, that's
chased
right.
him all day.
Yeah. Saturday we got on, Saturday the storm kind of finally rolled out, but what they were calling for like a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, and it was like 18 to 24 mile an hour wind. It was impressive, and it dropped down to like in the mid 30s. I was pretty sure I was going to die Sunday morning. Like I was not appropriately dressed, and the wind was blowing. God. And like when I'd sit down, I was wearing my little shin gear ankle boots. When I'd sit down, there was my pants kind of made a little tent like that over my ankles, and the wind was blowing up my leg, and I couldn't feel my ankle to my knee, and I was mad, and then I'd have to pee. It was like but we ended up getting on a bird. He just didn't gobble much. He had some hens with him, and we had to kind of circle around, get in front of him. And we finally did. And he was kind of strutting down this road. There's some young dark pines right there beside him, and we were able to get in front of him and get a good shot. And so Trent killed one, and I don't know how many birds he's killed. He's not turkey hunted a whole ton, but he was stoked. I mean, he was really happy.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Which meant
from there it was JR's turn.
Right. So that morning, everybody, I mean, we had a lot of people and a lot of people together hunting. So I just sat back Sunday morning and everybody pulled out of camp, and I sat there for approximately 36 seconds before I decided that I was going to put my camo on and go at least listen to one. And so I rolled out of camp and snuck into the corner of that field, or the field behind the one we killed with frog. And I slipped in there, and it was, again, they gobbled late. And so I hadn't heard anything, and I made like some soft tree yelps, and the bottoms lit up again. And so I put my call away. Like, I'm not hunting.
Y'all appreciate the way, just a couple little yelps.
Yeah.
I was trying not to, honestly.
Like 3 JR fly downs is equivalent to your little tree yelp.
My little like trashy stuff.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure everybody caught that.
Yeah. And but honestly, I was trying not to screw any turkeys up because, we still had some birds to kill. And so I put the call away, and I'm standing there leaned up against a tree, and these just enjoying these turkeys gobbling. And all of a sudden, here it is again. I hear, and this turkey lands right in front of me at like 30 yards. Jeez. And I'm just leaning on a tree. So I told Spence, I just closed my eyes or squinted my eyes and stood there. He definitely saw me, but he eased off, and I left there, went to another property, and it was thick pines out on the edge of this field. So I'm easing around the corner of the pines, and there's another strutter at 30 yards. Again, I'm not hunting, don't have a gun. He has no clue I'm standing there. So I snuck back out, and I go back to camp, and JR's like, I think he got really close that morning.
Yeah, so right after he hunted the same property we did, And right after we killed, we needed to leave the property because the owner was doing some work. He was digging out a beaver dam and a couple other things. And so we were trying to locate JR and Joey. And JR basically uses his phone like a semi truck driver would use a flare on the interstate. Like, it's few and far between. He don't look. So I'm texting JR. I'm like, hey, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You know, and he's not responded. And so we start driving to where we think he might be. And it's this property's beautiful. It's all these little blocks of pines with roads going in between it. And so we turn the corner on this one spot and we look down the road and there's like a whole flock of turkeys. It's like 4 or 5 jakes and 6 or 8 hens. And we look and we glass and we look. I mean, we're like, you see a longbeard? No, I don't see any longbeards. You're like, oh, me neither. Okay. All right. So we're like, well, let's just drive down there and see how close we can get. So we just take off and we're just rolling down this dirt road towards this group of turkeys, and they're just standing there. They're not going anywhere. And man, we get down 60, 70 yards from them, and they're still not running off. And we're just wanting to look at them, still looking for JR, who hadn't responded to his text message. And anyways, they trot on off in the pines, and about that time, JR calls and like, hey, what you's doing? You know, and we're like, well, we're looking for you. And he was like, well, you just about ran over me. We're like, what? And he was like, you know, back around the corner where that group of turkeys were? Yeah. Well, there's 2 big strutters, and they were coming down my gun barrel, and had them at about 65 yards. The next thing I know, I have to move my gun barrel because there's a Ford F-150 about to run over it. Oh. He's like, I don't know what you are doing, but it's time to pick me up. I need to go to a different property if I'm going to kill a turkey. So we felt about yay big, and we're like, man, I'm really, really sorry, JR. He's like, oh, it's okay. I mean, you know, fortunately, we're in part of the world where there's a lot of turkeys. We're going to find another one. You know?
I guess they were rolling at a pretty good clip in the truck. JR said he didn't hear him coming or anything. And then the next thing you know, it's like, shoo.
Neil has one of those F-150s that's just silent. You know, I mean, they're like the Eco Boost or whatever. I mean, they literally sound like a golf cart. I mean, and when we got back to him, y'all, this was like a logging road. And he was sitting on the tree on the outside edge, and the logging road's maybe 12 feet, you know, and a pickup truck's like 8 feet. Yeah. And he was sitting there down his gun barrel looking at these 2 strutters. And I'm like, oh, man.
Damn. But y'all never seen the strutters.
We never saw the strutters, and I don't know if it's because they were behind the group of that was everything was standing there kind of looking back at us. And I don't know if the strutters just disappeared before, like maybe heard us or saw us when we came around the corner and stepped into the pines. We never saw the strutters, but I mean, JR was on them. I mean, Joey was on them. They're videoing them. Here they come down this road, you know, a whole flock of turkeys, 2 strutters.
I hope Joey has the footage of that.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And anyway, so we loaded him up, and we get back to the house, and the guy who kind of runs the lease, his name is Steve, and he's a fantastic cook. And he had made this giant pot of turkey and dumplings, which is kind of his specialty. And last year, I think I ate 2.5 gallons of turkey and dumplings while I was there.
I had 4 bowls that day. That was much.
That good.
It's fantastic. And so it's like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and he's like, well, I got the turkey and dumplings ready. I'm like, great, I'm in. And JR's standing out there, and JR can eat like, he can hold his own. I mean, he eats like a grizzly bear. He's like going to hibernate, you know. I mean, and he's like, well, you can go in there and get you a bowl of that dumplings, but I'm going to kill a turkey. And I'm like, dang, this son of a gun really wants to kill a turkey. He's going to pass up turkey and dumplings. Yeah, I'm turkey and dumplings with beer when I get back. And he promptly went and killed a turkey. I mean, you went with him.
Yeah. So we went back to that turkey that flew down on me in that corner, and I had snuck back over there again, and he was right there strutting. So when I get back to the house, I told JR, I was like, this turkey's in a super killable spot. We need to go get him. And he was like, let's go. Like, he's hurrying me along at that point. I was like, I just ate 4 bowls of chicken and dumplings. This should be interesting. So we get dropped off, and sure enough, we come around the corner and lay eyes on that turkey strutting in the same spot. Been there all morning. And JR was working around the field to make a move, and I was going to hang back and watch with my binoculars and just kind of keep eyes on him. And JR, again, the wind's blowing like 25 miles an hour. It was ridiculous. And JR makes a pretty good move and gets about halfway to the turkey, so he's probably 300 yards at this point. And he starts calling, and I'm watching this turkey through the binoculars, and he's gobbling at every note, but you can't hear him at all. So I told JR, I was like, he's gobbling hard. Well, ended up he gobbled in a group of jakes and another longbeard. It was 4 jakes and another longbeard. And so he broke strut and disappeared for quite a while. And then he showed back up with the whole flock of turkeys. And JR and Joey are in position, and for whatever reason, the gobbler, I think he had remembered JR calling from over there, because he wasn't calling anymore, but the gobbler left the whole flock and starts marching right to him. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Well, at that time, I couldn't hear or see either of the gobblers. And so it disappears, and I hear boom, boom. I'm all excited, and I stand up, and I'm watching this gobbler fly over, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I hope that was the smaller one of the two, because there was definitely a smaller one of the two. And I'm thinking that was the other longbeard. Well, about that time, it squares up about a 50-foot pine tree, and it hits me that that's the one that JR shot at. So I stand up and take off as fast as I can go. It was probably 100 yards or more, 120 for me. So I take off like I'm timing a 40-yard dash, and I get over there, and about the time I get to the turkey, he's standing up and getting his wits about him. And it's one of those deals, if you've ever run down a turkey, you definitely know, like, there's a point where you lock eyes, and he's like, oh no, I'm in trouble, and you're like, oh no, I'm in trouble, because he's about to haul butt.
Yeah.
So he stands up and gets his wits about him. And sure enough, the turkey takes off, but he messed up when.
Are we at the point in the story where he shot twice?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I already saw the turkey hit the tree. Spence stepped out for a minute, by the way.
Did y'all sufficiently laugh at this story?
No,
I
they
can't
didn't.
wait for you to see
It hasn't got to the good
because-
part yet, though.
Because JR stands up and he's like, well, shit. Standing there, he's so mad.
He stands still because he thought he missed it. And then he's watching with his hand on his hip. When the turkey hits the tree, he does it again. Oh, shit. And he takes off running in this waddle across the field. And
He looks like a big gobbler running across the field for a fight,
and
His corn's bedded up, so it's not level ground, and he's running across this field.
So I come to the turkey, and he just got his wits about him. He takes off, and he took off kind of at me at an angle. And without breaking stride, I mean, as fast as I can go, I got as low as I could and hit a form tackle on him. And I snatched him up. And by the time JR got there, the turkey's dead and had quit flopping. And he's like, oh wow. He's like, I don't know what kind of kung fu you put on him, but he's dead.
In the video, you're behind JR, like the camera's behind JR, and he's standing there with one hand on his hip, just watching in dismay as this turkey flies off. He hits a pine tree, falls out of the air, stands up, and then disappears behind this hill. And the next thing you see is JR waddling, and then Pruitt holding the turkey up there like, got him.
It was great. It was a great hunt for me, too. I had a blast chasing that thing down, but
Working off some of that turkey and dumplings.
but that turkey just so happened to have 1 3/4 spurs.
He was a whopper.
And he put a hole in both of my hands and a hole in my leg through my pants, and he whooped on me pretty good. So
I roll into the field to give them a ride back, and Pruitt's like, look at this, and drops his drawers down to his knees, and he's like, look at this hole, and he's got a puncture wound in his hole. Looked like you hit him with a 1/4-inch drill bit in the side of his leg. I mean, he was a whopper, almost 22 pounds.
the Neil pulls up, and we were telling him the story, and Neil looks over and goes, oh yeah, look at this pile of feathers over here. That was where I had tackled him into the bushes. It was a good hunt.
So JR got him like one bite of sausage. He loved this hog sausage that Mr. Henry had been getting made, and he got him some hog sausage and a bowl of dumplings. And he said, "Well, Neil, it's your turn to kill one, I guess." And man, they pulled out of the driveway, went one property down, turned in the driveway, and dang if there wasn't three gobblers standing right there. And JR goes, "Well, all that's left to do is get out of the truck and kill them." So they got out of the truck, took like 12 steps from the truck, got by this little tree. It was kind of a real thick cutover right there. And Chris Utroska was filming, and I mean, he's just barely getting set up. And JR goes, "Well, I'm going to yelp to him. Are you ready?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm ready." They all three, white face, and come on a dead run, 400 yards. Bam. I mean,
Done.
back
That
to the
easy.
back to the house. You know,
They are acting right.
I was like, how do they go from acting so wrong on Friday and Saturday to so right on Sunday?
Dang.
It was wild. We killed one on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, and then we commenced to celebrating.
that was great. I left out the detail of that second turkey the first morning we got on with JR. We're working a gobbler and a group of Jakes start fighting out in the middle of the field. And JR lets out this fighting sequence on Yelper. And it was the most insane thing I have ever heard in my life. Like, I was waiting for the alien spacecraft to show up. It was, it was impressive. And they loved it. That gobbler actually came sprinting in, and at like 90, I don't know, he saw something or didn't like it, but he slammed on the brakes and hung up. But he was loving it until he saw something. It was crazy.
It is a great time, and yeah, a lot of successful hunting. Looks like there's a lot of great turkeys, good hatch.
Yep.
A lot of positives to start the season. So
All happy thoughts leaving from South Carolina then?
I guess it was happy thoughts leaving South Carolina. It was sad thoughts by the time we got to the house. That felt like we could have made the same drive walking. I mean, it was horrible. It was so long.
Very.
But we got in late last night and made it to work on time this morning. So
That's positive.
Fantastic
Yeah.
couple of day trip. We were pretty hard on them in a short amount of time. Got to see a ton of turkeys. And
Did everybody that was going there to get a turkey,
Yep.
did they get their turkey?
yeah, we filled all the tags that we wanted to fill. 100%.
Good. Good.
So that was all very good. Mission accomplished. So who's hunting next? Anybody right here hunting?
I wish y'all could see this. Everybody's kind of eyeing each other like,
I guess I could. I don't have weekend plans.
I'm not hunting until next week.
None of us got drawn for Mississippi, right? So we can't attack the national forest until April 1st.
Cameraman just wants to point one at him.
is it the first?
I think
What's
Thought it
today?
was 2 weeks.
it is, but I mean,
15 days or something like that, ain't it?
Yeah. What's today?
26.
First is sounding pretty nice. Oh, I got a fishing tournament on the first. Dadgummit.
a fishing tournament on a Monday.
Monday nighters,
What kind
baby.
of job you got?
Monday nighters.
One that requires Wi-Fi.
They started. Yeah, exactly. Phone service. No, they start at 6:00 p.m.
Evening tournaments.
Yeah, they're great. Me and Gunner go clean shop, playing our little video game. It's a good time.
It's a video game fishing tournament.
I'm talking about Live Scope.
One of those. Yeah, it's a video game fishing tournament. Oh me. Well, I guess since our last podcast, man, we had NWTF. We launched the BSOD. We launched the ivory and leather Levy cuts, which was pretty crazy. I mean, didn't quite sell all of them. Sold plenty of them, but man, I've been. Have you guys gotten any reactions out of the leather sleeve and the lanyard combo?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw some comments on a thread how they liked it.
We've had probably half a dozen or more people call the shop and want to order them for another call.
Yep.
No kidding.
Blew my mind. I didn't see that coming.
I took a call today. The guy was like, "Are y'all selling those separate?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, how many do I have to order to get some?" I was like, "Man, I don't know. I'll call you back." So people definitely like them.
Yeah, that's pretty slick. Lanier, your fingers hurting? I mean, y'all been running some thread through that sewing machine.
Look how black his fingers are.
Yeah. every
Holy
day.
cow, they're black as that hoodie.
Yeah, they look like that every day. But yeah, the sleeves definitely took some time because we had to hand stitch all those. So there was no sewing machine on the call sleeves.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that we've done since our last podcast was hit the old West Point turkey tailgate. Saturday
Yeah.
before last, and
Sure enough.
watched the Fox and the Colonel video.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess you were the only one that was there for that,
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
And Riley.
Yeah, and
And Riley.
But I mean, on the podcast
Yeah,
is what I
okay,
meant.
yeah,
but,
right.
I was telling Lauren I
wanna-
can't wait for that to come out so I
Oh,
can
man.
sit in my living room and turn the volume way up.
Watch it the
and,
second time.
yeah, and watch it again.
Yeah.
I was telling her, it's like, everyone reads the 10th Legion, this, that, and the other. That's kind of like a trend with the turkey world and culture. I feel like this film will be something
Similar.
a similar aspect to it,
Yeah, so if you're listening and don't know what we're talking about, Mossy Oak produced, it's an hour and 20-minute long documentary on the parallel life of Tom Kelly and Mr. Fox. They were born basically a couple blocks away from each other in Mobile, Alabama, and never met each other until they were in their 90s.
Yeah.
And both of them in their own way, navigated through American history, say from the 1920s until today, or the late 20s, early 30s, kind of until today. And both of them significantly impacted the current state of the wild turkey population.
Wow.
And it is wild because
Yeah.
it's really three parallels in the film. It's their life, each of them, Mr. Fox and Colonel Tom, and then the history of the U.S. starting in the late 20s, like where their parents, got married and had them, so their lifetime, and it goes basically in 10-year increments. And then the third kind of history that it parallels, so there's kind of three tracks, is the history of the wild turkey, the state of the wild turkey in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and the beginning of restoration in the 50s, failed restoration and picked up, and then at the end, towards the end, it talks about just sort of the economic boom of the 90s and how outdoor television became such a big deal, and how Mossy Oak and Realtree and others just sort of spotlighted this explosive growth in the outdoor industry, and then really kind of how Mossy Oak took that success and turned it back into conservation. And I mean, I laughed, cried, laughed again, cried a couple times. I mean, it was very impactful as a film.
That's awesome.
We sat down at dinner, and good Lord, Lauren, 3 times the wife, she said, that video just makes you want to go and do something good. I was like, you know what, Lauren, you're exactly right. She's like, it makes you want to do something that matters. I said, yeah. But it is so cool because how it tells all three of those historical perspectives congruent with one another. And I mean, it's one of those things that another 10 years, neither one of those guys will probably be alive. And so right now what we have is their verbal version of that history. And I mean, this will be one of those things that I sit down with my kids as soon as it comes out, like you're saying, make them watch it again because they were there. I will make Lindy watch it a couple times, whether she wants to or not. I'll make my parents watch it. I'll make a lot of people watch it. And then 20 years from now or 100 years from now, whenever I decide for my children to, get married and have grandkids, I'll sit down with my grandkids and I'll watch it and I'll go, look, this is the history. This is the soil in which Rolling Thunder was planted. I mean, our business wouldn't exist without the explosion of the outdoor industry in the 90s, and without the conservation of the wild turkey, I mean, we wouldn't be able to hunt it like we do. There wouldn't be a industry of calls and all the things that there are. Anyways, it just was a fantastic film, and
Well, it takes a lot for you to like look at it that way. You know what I mean?
but it forces you to. I mean,
Well,
you'll be impressed.
No, I'm astonished by the way that you're talking.
When I
about
walked into the room, all of us did. We were like, hour and a half long film. We're like, man, how in the world are they going to keep us interested? Nathaniel Maddox produced it, Slate and Glass, and crushed it. I mean, absolutely crushed it.
Just glued.
Really, seriously, did not.
I didn't feel like I was there for.
Nobody got up to get more popcorn. Nobody got up to get another drink. I mean, I needed to pee real bad, and I wasn't missing a moment of it. I mean,
That's awesome.
Where is this airing? For the public now?
I suppose it'll air on their YouTube channel. They did this premiere in West Point with really just their staff and close friends and family, and there were maybe 100, 120 people there. And that alone, let me just say as a side note, that alone, I'm sure you could echo this, Drake, but just being invited to be in that room and looking at who all was there, I mean, that was humbling. I sat down at dinner and told everybody, I was like, y'all, we're like little bitty fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
Like this feels momentous, you know. This feels like a big deal, and it's just an honor to participate and to be a part of a tiny way, fly the Mossy Oak flag and be a tiny part of that. But so they aired it in West Point and they rented out a little local theater. They did the same thing a couple nights ago in Alabama, which is where the Mossy Oak Properties office is. And then I think Neil told me the other day it's going to be sometime the first week of April, maybe the 3rd or 4th, that they're going to air it online. And I mean, when it comes out, if you're still listening to this, I just want you to know.
Oh yeah, we're definitely watching this in Georgia.
100%.
And this is
watch
not
party.
something that you need to sit down and try to watch on your phone. I mean, it's you need to see it on a big screen. You need to pay attention to it.
You need to appreciate it.
You do.
100%.
Yeah. And it's not something you can kind of check in and check out of because it progresses through the years of history. You need to really pay attention to the details and pay attention to the interconnectedness of everything. And anyways, I that was a cool experience. That was really cool. So
I'm excited to watch it then now.
yeah. What else are we missing?
I'm trying to
You
think.
went snow goose hunting a few times, Kirk.
Mashed on them.
That was fun. I'm not going to put that above turkeys like anything else. No, there's no way. But no, I definitely got to see my snow goose.
Goose Gossip is back.
I got to see my snow goose dream that I've always wanted to, living in old South Dakota and seeing all the Arkansas videos. Now, I never did shoot my gun, but I did.
You sat under a couple of tornadoes.
I did sit underneath some tornadoes, thanks to old Gilpin.
Oh, Gilpin's good.
He is, and he's determined.
Yeah.
And he gets mad when it ain't going right.
Oh yeah.
He's legit.
He is.
How many did y'all kill?
Throughout the 5 or 6 days I was there, I put it at above 500 to 600. 500.
They
Gotta know.
100 plus 3 or 4 times. And
The first 3 days I was there, ever snow goose hunting, we killed 300 plus or something like that.
Jamming.
Jamming is right.
shooting them right too.
Yeah, there was one volley that, well, just for instance, quick story. There was one of the hunts where the first dead ones that we had like counted barely, like 10 or 15 or something like that. And we shoot into this massive volley, and the volley just falls. I mean, just falls. And they start putting them into the ditch, and Gilpin's like, let's take a count. And we're at like 117 or something. So somewhere in the lines that we did a 90 bird shootout or something like that.
Oh, smokes.
Yeah.
Cram.
That's some
sessions.
serious cram cam. So
Did you guys have the e-collars and the...
He had it all. But he just does strictly full bodies. There was one hunt that he brought out some silhouettes, but he has, I think, anywhere from 400 now full bodies or something like that. It seems like a lot, but once you're out there, it's more of like the geese flying over it and actually seeing a 3-dimensional, instead of a like non-flapping. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that full bodies are king, and I'll always live by that.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Dr. Grid,
Jeez.
resident expert of the Goose Gossip Podcast, wants you to know that full bodies are king.
Key. Oh gosh.
Where are you hunting next?
Y'all don't want to know.
We might.
Monday, I'm going to Shamula to hunt with Toxie and Neil.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You could have gone without telling us that.
It was an invitation you just can't really turn down.
No, you can't.
You're taking Maddie, right?
Yep.
That'll
It'll be fun.
Scott Rhodes and Jane are coming down, and we're going to hunt Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, something along those lines. And then I'll work a day or two, and then Josh and I are going to Texas to the Mossy Oak Rio Roundup.
Oh, that's right.
So we'll see some of our friends at NBS, and I can't remember what other account's going to be there, but that'll be a good time. And then I guess I'll leave there and come home for a few days before it opens here.
When is it in Tennessee?
When is it?
13th.
Yeah, 2 weeks from 2 weeks from this Saturday.
That gives you plenty of time for them to cross the ditch, Drake.
I know it. I know it. Cord already talked about it. He had to need to go out there and do some running around. I said, go ahead.
go run around.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is your point to get Lauren on a bird first there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Look at you. You've graduated so quick.
We might
Drake's growing up in the
we might
turkey
invite
world.
Lauren. We might invite Lauren on our side of the ditch.
Yeah,
Like, Drake, you got to stay over there.
that's fine.
Just watch this.
They'll be over there.
Most people have forgotten Drake signed an NDA when he came to work here that said he would not turkey hunt. And there we are 2 years later.
You're welcome.
And like, Drake's like, hey, I've got this list of days that I'd like to have off. It's like April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd. I'll work the 4th, and then we go on the 5th. Wait a minute here. Hold on. This wasn't a part of the deal.
In all fairness, I'm here the majority of the week.
Yeah, you are. You are. If you're coming to visit the shop, I would strongly recommend you visit on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday
Yeah.
before lunchtime. No.
From killing your first turkey last year to being full bore.
I love it. It's
Yeah,
it's what
eat
makes
up with it.
springtime fun, man. I mean, we're tuning duck calls right now out the yin yang, but it's like Girk and I were looking at a email campaign that he was building, and it's like 3 different people in the shop were yelping. And I looked at Girk and I was like, why is everybody yelping right now? And he looked at me, he was like, I don't know, boss. They're definitely not getting work on if they're yelping.
all I can say is I can ream and yelp at the same time.
you were cleaning up mouthpieces.
I sent some
like
great
running my mouth.
emails while I was yelping. No, we got a little care package from Josh. That's why.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, I didn't even.
That's why the yelping always goes down.
Yeah.
No wonder we're out of inventory.
No, he sent me some goodies.
Did he?
Yeah. I was trying them out.
We got to get
testing
you on
them.
the gobble stage, man. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't. I think it will eventually, though.
All right.
Eventually.
There's probably a fear factor built in there, huh?
No, there's a lack of practicing factor
Okay.
that was built into it. Joe,
I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing because you're wagging tail.
I wish you could see the way that Josie's looking at Drake right now. She's basically going,
Drake's dog.
Drake, it's 5:32,
Yeah, it's
and
eating
we're
time.
supposed to be with Good Lord right now.
are you hungry?
I'm supposed to be eating my food.
Are you hungry?
Oh me. Well, we'll wrap this one up and try to have a little tighter agenda on the next one. But man, I don't know about y'all. I'm glad turkey season's
Yep.
back.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to somebody hanging a dead one on the hook. That hook has been awful empty on the left side of the shop.
Yeah.
We need a rocking chair and a little beer drinking at 10:30 in the morning.
I'm just ready to hear one gobble.
Yeah, why don't y'all kill one?
Just let Tennessee open up.
Sounds
Come
pretty
on.
nice.
Yeah.
Pick a good weather day. Come
Yeah.
in.
I'll be gone on the 13th, but I will be back with a vengeance on the 14th, and I've got some pent up anger. sheesh. I don't know if I'll get to carry a gun between now and then.
It makes you want it that much more for sure.
Absolutely.
That's the cool thing about turkey hunting is you can't scratch the itch. Like
Who
the more
said
you
that?
kill,
Was that you that was saying that?
the more that you witness, the more you want it. As soon as you kill one, you're already thinking about the next one.
and that is cool. That is a very true statement. It's like, man, if I could just kill one, it'll be fine. It's like, nope, you kill one, it's like, oh, I want 100 more.
Yeah.
My addiction is wanting to get one on camera. Just when its head just
Hammering.
goes hammering.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hard too, man.
That's
that's like, you see those clips floating around social media just everywhere. Like it's,
And
but-
people think that they just get them like
Yeah.
ease by ease, but it's time and manner.
yeah.
But
Boy, turkey call sales have been great this spring. Thank y'all for all the orders. I mean, I was telling Pruitt this morning, I mean, you wouldn't know from the internet and the amount of stuff we're shipping out that it's turkey season instead of duck season. I mean, it's been wild. We really appreciate it. The gold digger's been good. The leather stuff's been good.
Lord Leather, thank you.
Yeah.
Lord Leather.
We got to come
We'll
up
get
with
caught
another.
up one day.
We got to come up with another L adjective. We're all sitting here thinking. Leo the leather. Lasso. Well, anyways. All right. On that note, I guess everybody needs to go home.
Yep.
I've got Spike 2.0 waiting at the shop for me to interview. He's going to meet me at 5:30, so I've got 1 minute to get there. Oh, nope, I'm 4 minutes late. But anyways, yeah, we got Spike number 2.
Get introduced to the Rolling Thunder ways.
I told Spike, I was like, you get this kid to come to work in the afternoons after school, you can let him polish and you can tell him what to do. And he was like, yeah. He was so fired up.
He asked me whenever he got in, is there anything to polish? I said, I don't really think so right now. And he goes, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I don't know.
I intercepted him in the hallway and I was like, you got a job? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm putting bands on these goose calls back here. And I was like, nah, this one's better. Come over here and package these beer dubs.
But as soon as I told him he wasn't polishing, he goes, yes.
All right. Well, on that note, we will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening.
Adios.
See ya.